Hello everybody and welcome to your latest Manchester United transfer news on the United Stand, where we give you all that latest Manchester United transfer news with that real fan opinion. And we're talking strikers and we're talking midfielders today, because obviously that is where, well, we say obviously as fans, that's where Manchester United should be looking at it. Starting off with Bruno Fernandes then, look, I wouldn't say I'm tired of this deal. This is the deal. This is the big deal for me. I'll be very excited when it happens, but I must admit I've sort of slumped into this middle ground that you get with Manchester United, where you get that initial excitement of, yes, can't wait, we're going to do it, and then you get the realisation that we're going to suck as much joy out of it as we can, and then when it is official again, we'll be excited again. Lots of people saying yesterday and today that it's, you know, all the parties want the deal to be done, it's expected to be done later on this week. Obviously, Sporting had their game against Braga, and Bruno Fernandes, will he play in the next game for Sporting? Will it be done? I've said the 25th because he used to wear the number 25 shirt for Portugal. I mean, and 25th of December is Christmas, 25th of January, it's like a pretend Christmas. I don't know. The United PR team could think like that. Or we could announce it on Thursday, or we could announce it on Friday. Who knows when it's going to happen, but I think it will happen. What I would say is, look, never count your chickens. Ollie said it in the press conference yesterday, nothing's done until it's done, but I think United have spent so long on this deal that I think it will get done, and when it does get done, I'll be very excited. So that's the latest on Bruno Fernandes. I'm sure that's going to develop more, right? Maybe more today, maybe more tomorrow, but I think it will happen. I mean, ultimately, as we've all said many a time, the fact that he wasn't in for Liverpool was, I think, pretty bad. The fact that he's not in for the Burnley game, I think, is absolutely shocking. But this is all about this, isn't it? There's absolutely no comprehension in that football club that if we don't beat Burnley and we drop, say, 2 points, and then we miss out on top four by 2 points, but if Bruno Fernandes had played, we'd have won the game. Those 2 points could be worth 50 million quid. But we're arguing over paying Sporting Lisbon another 5. There is absolutely no sense, because it is short-term business, people, not looking at football. And that's what I mean. You know, he should have been in for the Burnley game. We win that game, it's 3 points. If we don't win it, 2 points dropped, 3 points dropped, whatever, and they're the points that you miss out on the top 4. You've just lost 50 million that you'd get from being in the Champions League. So, you know, it's not rocket science. It's just these are the people who are running our football club. They're just not the right people to run a football club, to be honest with you. So we'll see what happens with Bruno. I think it will happen. When, I don't know. I mean, do we even want him in for an irrelevant cup game at the weekend? We wanted him in for the Premier League games, but we will see. We will see. Maybe Man City next week. Anyway, another player we've been linked with is, I think is it Krzysztof, or am I getting that totally wrong? Polish Piatek. That's not his name. His first name's not Polish Piatek. It's Polish Piatek. It's Polish Piatek. Polish Piatek is not his name. Piatek is his name, and he plays for AC Milan. He's 24 years of age, he's 6 foot, he's a striker. They signed him from Genoa for 35 million euros. He had quite a good first season, dropped off a little bit. He is being mentioned alongside Cavani, who we'll talk about in a moment, as a potential player for Manchester United. And look, I watch a bit of Italian football, and I've got to be honest, my opinion is, why are we looking at a player like this then? I mean, are AC Milan going to loan him to us? No. Why would we buy a player? I mean, he's not top echelon sort of striker, to be honest. He's the Polish Charlie Austin. That's what I think, anyway. But let me just, back some of that up with some stats here. So if we go to the Smarter Scout website, which you can do through the link in the video description, you can get Smarter Scout Lite, which is basically free, and you can do your own searches and everything like that. Or you can use the code that we've given you below, which is Smarter2020, where you can use the premium option, free for 30 days, and it gives you deeper information in relation to leagues and more tools. So let's have a look at Piatek first of all. So we'll go into the name search, and we want to search for Piatek, Piatek. Let's get him up. There he is, Krzysztof. Show player profile. So basically, he is, as you can see there, these are scores out of 100. So last season, he had a score of 40 out as an attacking output. This season, it's down to 17. He's not doing so well this year. He's only got 4 goals, 3 of which have been penalties. A lot of that is to do with AC Milan's creativity problems. Red warning flag here for United. If you don't create chances for Piatek, he's not much of a good player. In fact, if you click on him here, you can see that. In his little graph there, he's got high 82 for shooting, high 71 for receiving in the ball box, but low for dribbling, low for passing towards goal, low for link-up play, low for recovery, and low for disruption. So he's good in the air. He is a good player in the air, but he's not a player that is part of the build-up play, and he's not a player that's part of dribbling, creating things himself. He's very, very reliant on the service, which actually, as we know at Manchester United, we don't do that. But let me just, not a lot of people are going to know much about this lad, so I'm just going to show you what Smarter Scout has a system where you can search for similar players. And he's in the Italian League One. He is, let's do last season when he was quite good. And striker, 200 results. Look at the top scorer, Charlie Austin. He's the Polish Charlie Austin. So he's similar to him. He's similar to sort of a Huntelaar sort of player as well. A few other players there. I don't really know much about any of those. But Charlie Austin, top of the list. He's the French Charlie Austin. That's who he is, Piatek. And that's who Manchester United are looking to bring to the club. Spurs are interested as well. But effectively, tall striker, not doing particularly well for AC Milan. 24 years of age. Probably costs us about 35 million. Thrives on service. I mean, he's no Erling Haaland, is he? He is no Erling Haaland. But look, check Smarter Scout out. You can do all those searches yourself. I don't think this is a signing to be excited about. He's not doing particularly well. And as I say, United don't create many chances. So what's the point in having a striker that is redundant if you don't create chances? He's basically just a target man. Typical old-fashioned number 9, which in the modern game... I mean, Darren Bent used to be a bit like that, and I remember watching Darren Bent towards the end at Aston Villa, and he just became redundant in the modern game because you've got to have more to your game. I mean, what I would say, the biggest thing about this is anybody who's saying let's go and get Piatek, we've just got rid of Lukaku, and everyone wanted to get rid of Lukaku, but what was Lukaku good at? Scoring goals in the penalty box. What wasn't he good at? Hold up play, distribution. But he actually wasn't too bad at dribbling, and he was quite quick. So... why would we bring in a player that's worse than Lukaku? It doesn't make any sense. And I think sometimes, in our desperation to make a signing, we've got to actually look at what we're doing. And I think Piatek's a bad signing. The player I would be trying to get is Luka Jovic, who went from Germany to Real Madrid in the summer. He's hardly played for Real Madrid. That's the player I'd look at. That's a player who's 22, 6 foot again, but he's got far more qualities. But I don't think we will even look at that. We could potentially do a loan there, especially if they're going to buy Pogba in the summer. We could say, look, give us 10 million. We'll let you have Pogba for 140 million. Give us Jovic till the summer and you can have him back. Help us out, high five and all that. So that's something that I think would be a good idea to do, but obviously not. I want to talk about Cavani in a minute, but let's just talk about a couple of players that may be going. Rojo could be going back to Argentina, apparently. I forget the name of the club, Estudiantes or something like that. And Tahith Chong, Fabrizio Romano talking about Tahith Chong, agent being in talks with Inter Milan. That looks like it's going to happen. What a joke. What a joke Manchester United Football Club are. We are letting players go that are in their 30s, like Ashley Young, good, but we're also letting players go who are like, we're about the youth, but then we're not about the youth because then we won't give them a new contract. And the contract that apparently is being offered to Heath Chong is somewhere around between $1 million and $2 million a year, which, well, $1 million and $2 million, if my maths is quite good, 1.2 million a year is £100,000 a week, £100,000 a month, sorry, which is £25,000 a week. So let's split the difference and say he wants £30,000 a week to Heath Chong. Well, yeah. Surely that's got to be worth a punt. Like £30,000 a week, and I bet Gomez wants the same. I mean, surely that's got. If we're investing in the youth and they're ready, then surely you do that. I just don't get it. Some people might not agree with me on that, but I just don't get why we continually let contracts run down. It absolutely is baffling. Cavani is a divider. I did a video on Cavani the other day. He is a divider. Some people, Rants and a few other people that I listen to what they've got to say. They're like, yeah, just get him, sign him up. For me, I stick by the same things. 4 injuries in the last 5 months, 33 next month, never played in the Premier League, actually visibly on the decline. Very expensive. He's on £200,000 a week wages. PSG also want money. It's not a loan deal. You've got to give him 2 years. Again, I just think it's muddled. It's like getting Piatek, who's worse than Lukaku in relation to what he can offer us. He's a striker who needs service and can't do anything else off his own back. Cavani is just old. And everyone will go, well, look at Zlatan. But let's look at Zlatan. I watched Zlatan. I've never understood why Zlatan is held up as some United legend because he came to the club for 10 months. He got a bad injury and never came back. He played for 9 months. He scored a few goals. But I tell you what, I think people forget how many chances he missed. Like, he missed bloody loads. And also, the biggest thing about Zlatan, because I do like Zlatan, I think he's a legend of the game. I just think he was a little bit too old for us when he came. The thing about Zlatan is, I specifically remember teams like Bournemouth coming to Old Trafford and having their defensive line on the halfway line and pressing the life out of us because they weren't scared of the ball over top. And so Cavani to me is not the sort of signing that Manchester United should be looking at. He really isn't. I mean, let's go back to Smarter Scout and I'll just show you in relation to Cavani the sort of things that he could offer Manchester United. So let's do a name search again. Remember, you can do this all yourself. The link is in the video description. Light version of Smarter Scout is totally free. You can also have a month out with more tools and more leagues as well by using the premium service. But let's show the player profile of Cavani. So we can have a look at what sort of a player Cavani is. Hardly played much this season. Look, 310 minutes, 49 minutes. That's in 2 different positions. But if we look at last season, played a lot. His attacking output out of 100 is 30, not that great. Defending quality, 29, 22. Ball retention's quite good, 61. If we click on him and you look at his strengths though, shooting for Cavani's quite good. His link-up play is very good, which obviously is totally different to Piatek. So if you're saying to me, do I want 24-year-old Piatek, who is basically just a number 9 with no other attributes other than scoring goals, or I want Cavani, who is old and injury prone, I don't really want either, but I probably would go Cavani because at least he can, he's good at receiving the ball in the box, but he's also good at recovering the ball and his link-up play is good. So, that gives you more as a team player. I think Manchester United do need a team player. And, I think with Cavani, you do get that. And, I mean, look at that. 96 at receiving the ball in the box, shooting 76, 89 link-up passing. I mean, they're the sort of things that, 93 recovering a moving ball. He does have attributes, but as I said, in the little bit of time that he's played for PSG this season, whether it's the Champions League or the French League, a lot of his stats have dropped off drastically, apart from, funnily enough, his dribbling in the Champions League. But his link-up passing stays the same, and his receiving in the box stays the same, and his shooting's the same. Look, there is no doubt, if I was to search Cavani on... and I've done it before. If you search for similar players to Cavani, people like Aguero pop up. He's a high-level striker. But I just don't think it's the right sort of player for United. But I suppose you've got to say, do you take Cavani or nobody? And I've got to agree, of course you do. You take Cavani over nobody because we do need somebody. And I suppose I've not quite adjusted to what Manchester United are, which is desperate. So desperate that we would have to take somebody that I wouldn't normally take. And I suppose I go back a year, I remember saying, I don't want Emre Can, he used to play for Liverpool. I don't want Gareth Bale, he's injury prone. By the end of the summer, and by December, I was saying, I'll take Can and Bale, beggars can't be choosers. So, I nearly said bagels can't be biscuits. They can't, they're savoury. But you can get a savoury biscuit. But what I was going to say is that, yeah, I get why people want Cavani. I get it, because it's probably just the same flip that I did with Bale based on how desperate we are as a football club. And if it's Cavani or nobody, I do get that mentality. I suppose I've spoken myself around, but there's loads of reason why he wouldn't be a good choice. But we need somebody, I suppose. We do need somebody. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video. Make sure you check out Smarter Scout. Link is in the video description there. You can have a little search around at these players, who they're similar to, how they're ranking out of 100 in lots of different areas. I'm really enjoying it. Remember, it's a watch along tonight for Burnley. I will speak to you all soon. Thank you very much for watching.